Picture this, planting your garden once and enjoying harvest for years to come without the exhausting cycle of starting over every single season. Sounds impossible, right? Actually, it isn't. Today I'll reveal 9 remarkable perennial crops that keep producing season after season with minimal effort on your part. If you've ever wished for a garden that saves time, saves money, and continually provides your family with fresh, nourishing food, then this is the guide you've been waiting for. And here's a teaser. The very first crop on this list is so unusual that many gardeners don't even realize it exists. Trust me, you won't want to miss it. Welcome back. If this is your first time here, I share tips to help gardeners like you work smarter, not harder. Here, gardening is simplified so you can achieve bigger harvests with less effort, all while truly enjoying the process. If transforming your backyard into a thriving food haven sounds exciting, you're in the right place. Before we dive into the list, make sure to hit the subscribe button and tap the notification bell. That way you'll never miss valuable gardening secrets that can turn your outdoor space into a low-maintenance, high-yield paradise. Now let's jump in, starting with number 9. Number 9. Rhubarb. Rhubarb is a hardy perennial that keeps on giving year after year. Once established, it can live for more than a decade, pushing up those iconic red stalks every spring. It's often one of the very first crops to appear, offering fresh produce when the rest of your garden is still asleep. Best of all, rhubarb needs very little care once it settles in. For planting, choose fertile, well-drained soil rich in organic matter. It thrives in full sun but tolerates partial shade. Each crown should be spaced about 3 feet apart, since the plant spreads widely as it matures. Think of rhubarb as a long-term investment. Once in the ground, it rewards you for years to come. Caring for rhubarb is simple. Water it during dry spells and mulch around the crown in autumn to protect it through the cold months. Avoid harvesting in the first year to let the plant establish. After that, you'll enjoy abundant stalks each season. Remember, only the stalks are edible. The leaves contain oxalic acid and should never be consumed. Use the stalks for pies, jams, sauces, or even savory dishes. The more you harvest, the more it produces. So tell me, would rhubarb earn a place in your garden? Let me know in the comments. Number 8. Jerusalem artichokes, sunchokes. These resilient tubers thrive in poor soil, tolerate drought, and still deliver generous harvests year after year. Once planted, they return every season without fail. Fun fact, they're part of the sunflower family, so they grow tall and beautiful above ground while producing edible tubers below. Planting is straightforward. Place the tubers 3 to 5 inches deep and about a foot apart. They love full sun and loose, well-drained soil, though they're not picky. Growing up to 10 feet tall, they're perfect for planting along garden edges as a natural screen or windbreak. As for care, they practically manage themselves. Just water them during prolonged dry spells. In fact, the biggest challenge is containing them. They spread quickly and can take over if left unchecked. Many gardeners jokingly call them the perennial that keeps on giving, sometimes too much. For harvest, wait until after the first frost, when the flavor turns sweet and nutty. Roast them like potatoes, mash them, or slice them raw for a crunchy salad topping. Any tubers left behind in the soil will regrow the following season, providing you with an endless food supply. So would you give Jerusalem artichokes a try, even if it meant dedicating a corner of your garden to them? Share your answer below. Number 7. Chives. At number 7, we have chives, one of the simplest and most rewarding perennial herbs to grow. Once planted, they return year after year, offering a continuous harvest of fresh onion-flavored greens. They're delicious in soups, salads, and egg dishes. And when they bloom, their purple flowers attract pollinators, boosting your entire garden's productivity. Chives thrive in full sun but can handle partial shade. They prefer rich, well-drained soil and should be spaced about 8 inches apart. Short on space? No problem. Chives grow beautifully in containers, making them perfect for patios or windowsills. They're also nearly effortless to care for. Keep the soil lightly moist and trim them regularly to encourage fresh growth. When they flower, you can snip off the blooms to prevent reseeding, or let them attract beneficial insects. Either way, you win. Harvesting is easy. Just snip the leaves a couple of inches above the soil, and they'll keep growing all season. Use them fresh, freeze them, or dry them for your spice rack. So, would you grow chives directly in your garden, or keep them close in a container for quick kitchen use? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear how you'd use this versatile herb. Number 6. Horseradish. Next on our list is a fiery perennial with a bold kick, horseradish. Known for its powerful flavor, this root crop is far tougher than most gardeners realize. Plant it once, and it will reliably return year after year, often spreading even wider and stronger as time goes on. Truly, it's the definition of a set-it-and-forget-it plant. For planting basics, horseradish thrives in full sun and loose, well-drained soil. It's typically grown from root cuttings. Just place them at a slight angle, about 2 inches deep and a foot apart. Once established, horseradish is almost unstoppable. Caring for it is minimal. A little water during long dry periods is usually all it needs. The real challenge is containing it, since it can spread aggressively if ignored. A helpful tip: give horseradish its own dedicated bed or plant it in a large container to keep it under control. Harvesting usually happens in late fall, when you can dig up the thick, pungent roots. Use them fresh for homemade horseradish sauce, grate them into pickles, or add their fiery punch to your favorite dishes. Best of all, any small root pieces left in the soil will regrow, guaranteeing next year's harvest without any extra effort. So here's the question: would you welcome horseradish into your garden, even if it meant keeping its spreading roots in check? Share your thoughts in the comments. This perennial is as persistent as it is powerful. Number 5. Asparagus. At number 5, we have a true garden legend, asparagus. If there's one perennial every serious gardener should consider, it's this one. Why? Because once established, asparagus crowns can produce for 15 to 20 years. That's nearly 2 decades of tender, delicious spears from a single planting. It may require patience at first, but the long-term reward is unmatched. Planting asparagus is straightforward, but requires care. It loves full sun and well-drained soil. Start with 1-year-old crowns rather than seeds. They establish much faster. To plant, dig a trench about a foot wide and 6 to 8 inches deep. Place the crowns inside. Cover them with a few inches of soil and gradually fill in the trench as the plants grow until it's level with the ground. Give each crown about 18 inches of space, since asparagus spreads over time. Maintenance is simple but important. Keep the bed free of weeds, water during dry spells, and feed the plants each spring with compost or organic fertilizer. Resist harvesting in the first year to allow the crowns to gain strength. By the second or third season, you'll be rewarded with generous harvests every spring. When it's time, snap the spears when they reach 6 to 8 inches tall. Asparagus is one of the earliest crops to appear each spring, a welcome taste of fresh produce when little else is ready. So tell me, would you dedicate a permanent spot in your garden to asparagus, knowing it could keep feeding you for the next 20 years? Let me know in the comments. I'm curious how many of you are ready for this long-term investment. Number 4. Sorrel. Next up is sorrel, a leafy green that many gardeners overlook. But once you grow it, you'll wonder how you ever lived without it. Sorrel is a perennial green with a sharp, lemony flavor that brings a burst of freshness to soups, sauces, salads, and even smoothies. Unlike annual greens that constantly demand replanting, sorrel faithfully returns each spring, offering a steady harvest throughout the season. Planting sorrel is simple. It thrives in full sun, but can tolerate partial shade, making it flexible for different areas of your garden. Give it well-drained, compost-enriched soil and space plants 12 to 18 inches apart. Once it takes root, sorrel will keep producing for years. Caring for it is nearly effortless. Keep the soil moist during hot spells and trim back any flowers to extend the leaf harvest. Sorrel is hardy, resilient, and rarely troubled by pests or disease. For harvesting, pick the outer leaves when they reach 4 to 6 inches long, and the plant will quickly replace them. Use the leaves fresh for a tangy kick, or cook them down into sauces where their citrus-like flavor shines. So here's a fun question. Would you rather toss sorrel into a salad or turn it into a refreshing soup? Share your answer in the comments. I'd love to hear how you'd use this underappreciated green. Number 3. Globe artichoke. At number 3 we find the globe artichoke, a perennial that's both delicious and strikingly ornamental. Why does it stand out? First, it's a feast for the eyes. With tall stalks, silvery leaves, and large sculptural flower buds that double as food, it's as beautiful as it is useful. A well-cared-for artichoke plant can keep producing for 5 years or more, offering abundant harvests along with showpiece appeal. Planting globe artichokes requires space and sunshine. They thrive in full sun and rich, well-drained soil. Plant them about 3 feet apart since they grow quite large. In cooler climates, start them indoors and transplant after frost danger has passed. In warmer regions, they can go straight into the ground. Artichokes need steady water, especially during dry weather, and benefit from compost each year to keep the soil fertile. By their second year, they'll produce multiple buds, and with good care, a single plant can provide dozens of artichokes each season. For harvesting, cut the buds while they're still tight and compact. That's when they're at their best for steaming, roasting, or stuffing. If you let them bloom, though, you'll be rewarded with huge purple flowers that attract pollinators and make your garden glow. So what would you do? Harvest every bud for the kitchen, or let some bloom to dazzle your garden? Share your answer below. Number 2. Blueberry. Coming in at number 2 are blueberries, a perennial fruit bush that provides sweet, nutritious harvests year after year. These little berries aren't just delicious, they're packed with antioxidants, vitamins, and fiber, making them a true superfood. Once established, a blueberry bush can keep producing for decades, giving you bowl after bowl of fruit each summer. Blueberries do have special requirements. They thrive in acidic soil with a pH between 4.5 and 5.5, so you may need to amend with peat moss or pine needles. They love full sun, though they tolerate partial shade, and should be spaced 4 to 5 feet apart. Plant at least 2 different varieties for cross-pollination. This ensures larger harvests and sweeter berries. Caring for blueberries involves regular watering, especially while fruiting. Mulch with pine bark or wood chips to conserve moisture and suppress weeds. Prune in late winter to remove old canes and encourage vigorous new growth, keeping the bushes productive for many years. When harvest time comes, pick berries once they turn deep blue and slip easily off the stem. Enjoy them fresh, freeze them for smoothies, or turn them into jams and pies. Even better, the harvests get larger as the bushes mature. So tell me, would you plant blueberries mostly for fresh summer snacking or to stock up your freezer for year-round use? Let me know in the comments. Number 1. Walking onions. Egyptian onions. Finally, topping our list is one of the most fascinating perennials you can grow. Walking onions, also known as Egyptian onions. What makes them so unique? Unlike regular onions, these onions replant themselves. At the top of their stalks, they form clusters of small bulbs called topsets. As these clusters grow heavier, the stalks bend down to the ground, where the bulbs take root and grow into new plants. In this way, the onions walk across your garden season after season. Planting couldn't be easier. Start with a few bulbs, space them about 6 inches apart in well-drained soil, and give them full sun. Once established, they'll spread naturally, giving you an endless supply with almost no effort. Walking onions are remarkably hardy. They tolerate freezing winters, resist pests and disease, and require little water. Once planted, they only get stronger year after year. Every part of the plant is edible. Snip the green tops like chives, harvest the underground bulbs for stronger flavor, or use the top sets for replanting or cooking. Truly, it's one of the most efficient crops you can grow. So would you cultivate walking onions for their unusual self-planting trick, or simply for their endless harvest? Share your answer in the comments. This is one perennial that truly lives up to the promise. Plant once, harvest forever. Quick recap. Let's run through our list of 9 perennial crops you only need to plant once. Rhubarb, hardy and long-lasting. Jerusalem artichokes, resilient and productive. Chives, flavorful and pollinator-friendly. Horseradish, bold and persistent. Asparagus, a classic crop with decades of harvest. Sorrel, a zesty, underappreciated green. Globe artichoke, stunning and delicious. Blueberries, sweet antioxidant-rich bushes. Walking onions, the self-planting perennial marvel. Together, these crops give you a garden that keeps producing food, saves time, saves money, and provides a sustainable harvest for years to come. Plant them once, and enjoy the rewards for seasons to follow. If you enjoyed this video and want more tips to grow smarter, not harder, hit subscribe and tap the bell so you never miss future gardening secrets. And if these perennials sparked your interest, don't forget to like this video and share it with a friend who needs to hear about low-maintenance gardening. Remember, gardening doesn't have to be a constant cycle of replanting. With perennials, you plant once and harvest forever. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.